doesn't come on anymore.
Do we run interest that
Comes on her computer.
Yes, that's what we're doing with the one for you.
because that's the way I have that
Yeah,
amortization.
it's just growing.
Half a minute.
Looks like just a bunch of meters, doesn't it?
Yeah. And he said they're just coming in, that's what's.
Hey, suppose that is somebody's coat hanger.
Oh, funny.
It's got
Huh?
it's got a sticky on the back, huh?
Yeah. That's got a sticker you can peel off and put it someplace.
This is running standard.
Peel it off, stick it to the wall.
Hang your hat on it.
They try and get it off and rip their wallpaper or something, whatever that is.
It is wallpaper, isn't it?
Got that behind us.
So efficient.
Should be out here where we could see it, huh?
Get off to a side like me.
Huh?
Get off to a side like me.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, if we moved over, we'd use
See, I told him 2 minutes. He didn't believe me, did he?
the screen if you're over there.
Oh, gotcha. I'm good.
You can look at mine.
Plus I can look.
But it doesn't go up or down, see?
Yeah, you can't move anything around.
Oh, they have to do it for you.
Okay, you're
Oh,
ready.
wait, there.
Kick in.
Good morning. We'll call our Municipal Utility Board meeting to order here. Consider the consent calendar
I'll move to approve the agenda.
and the minutes. Sean?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Okay, all in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the claims. Any questions?
Just look like a lot of meters.
Yeah. Got enough meters to last you a while now, bud? Keep building, we keep needing them, right? That's good.
It's the Fort Knox of meters. I'll make a motion to approve the claims.
I'll
Okay,
second.
all in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
City Finance Officer's Report. Faye?
Good
Couple
morning.
more times yet?
Pardon me?
We got a couple of more times?
You'll see me probably one more time up here.
Really?
Maybe.
And that young lad behind you is gonna do it, huh?
And then that young lad behind me will be here, definitely. So anyway, this is the third quarter, end of September. The first sheet I've just kind of broke down and did a comparison of 23 to 22. You can see with the revenue there is a change, but of course we can look at the water, metered water, and that's probably our largest change, and that's because we did have a pretty wet summer, and we just did not use as much water. And so I'm not going to go through any of this. If you have any questions, please ask me as I go down. The expenses, we're doing fairly well on that. Of course, one of the higher ones is the $188,000 because we've started on that water project for the new well, and so that is up. Other than that, utilities is down, which is good, and I think that we'd assume would because of the water, not using as much water. Are there any, and then cash advances up at the top, you guys, I'll go into that more when we start looking at the CASAL worksheets, which are your worksheets after that. We'll go ahead and go to the balance sheet, which that's should be your next one. It starts out with cash. And of course, the cash is in a negative balance, but it's because of the advance to other funds, and that is your the TIFs that have been taken out of that. But if you would take the 4 million minus the 2, you're at the 2.2 million as far as money goes. So if you would need that 2.2 million, say something catastrophe, a loan could be made, either an internal loan or an outside loan to get that money. So you are always covered if something would happen. But right now, we're just sitting, that's how we're sitting. So it's an advance to other funds. That is being paid down twice a year. The money is, there's a amortization schedule. So this is reflecting only one time. I do it according to like your property taxes. So the end of May and the end of November. So end of November, there'll be money paid back into that from the TIFs. So the TIFs are paying it back twice a year. And then you're just your assets. Of course, your assets are your improvements, your machinery, your equipment, that type of thing. Liability, that accounts payable looks high. That was an auditor thing. It was a retainage of we have projects out there, and so that was some retainage, and so that was 215,000 that was sitting there. So that's just something that'll sit there throughout with the project. Down at the bottom, you can see that where your loans are at. You have the Lazelle Street loan at 1.2 million, and then you have the RD loan at 2.7. And of course, that is getting paid throughout the year. Any questions on the balance sheet? Then that's a 2-pager. So if you go to skip a page and then go to the second to the last page, that is your revenue. We have the water tap. We have miscellaneous revenue. And then we have the breakdown of the water, the metered, the bulk, the availability fees. And of course, on the first page, that's the same numbers that you can compare to 2022. So the first page kind of gives you a comparison. And then, of course, we do have the water surcharge. So then water surcharge SRF 23, that is actually money that has already been for the project that we're working on right now. So that is the very last surcharge there. That is for the project that's going on right now. We're collecting money right now to start paying on that once we get to that point. And then the very last page is the expenses. Your expenses, you look at the second column is the year-to-date actual. And so the first one is just telling you what happened in September. The second one is telling you what's happened throughout the year. And then there's the budget, comparing it to the budget. Rick's doing very well on the budget, definitely.
I'll come on over. We'll ask him when that comes up.
So, and like I've always said, if you guys look at this when you go home and you have questions, please call me. I'm more than happy to go with it, go through it. If you need kind of more in-depth stuff, I can get you what you need. So,
Thank you.
you bet. Thank you.
Just a question, Faye, what is the HSA expense anyway?
At the beginning of this year, we offered the employees 2 types of health insurance, and one was like a HSA, and the other was just a typical health insurance like we've always had. HSA, so it's a health insurance thing is what it is. Okay. And so that was something that was not budgeted for because we didn't realize we were going to offer that. It's actually a cheaper insurance, but a higher deductible and that type of thing. But some people participated, some didn't.
Okay. That's the question.
Okay. Customer concerns? Anybody worried out there? Water Superintendent. Todd?
Morning.
Good morning.
So Ron had already asked about the pipe by the church over there, and that project is rolling. We split the fence yesterday, and they should be digging shortly today. They staged pipe along the interstate as well yesterday, so hopefully that takes care of one of our issue spots for leaks and high hazard zone as well. Davenport Phase 3, they've got the infrastructure pretty well in. Unfortunately, the communications, power, and gas did not get in before the water, so we're going to be spending a lot of time up there locating brand new services where you can't see a house. I mean, you're just looking for curb stops and tracer wire boxes. It's might be interesting this winter as they.
When we have to do something like that, do we bill contractors or we just eat that?
We eat it. That's
We eat it?
that's part of the 811 services for
Okay.
locating. It does benefit us. If we have it marked and they hit it, they have to fix it. If we don't have it marked, then we have
responsibility to repair it.
yes. So it's just unfortunate the timing that
Yep.
this construction happened. To touch on the LSLI lead service line inventory, I'm gonna probably bring that up every month. Yep, no, you did. We're getting this room pretty well whipped. Unfortunately, our room doesn't get very full. When you look it up, we have 184 accounts of the customer doing theirs. That is out of 3,178. So we're gaining slowly. I would say we're gaining faster as I compare ourselves to other progress. We're doing all right. One of the things that we're doing is we got a head start. We went to an area of town that has meter pits, and we just went ahead and popped the meter pit and did their service line inventory for them. They don't even know that it's done. If we get duplicates, so be it. It's not a big issue. The other thing we're also doing is as we do turn-ons, somebody has to be present. So we request to go in and just take care of their service line inventory then. So at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going to happen. They're still revising this whole EPA rule. This is the only thing that has stayed. Nobody knows. When I've spoken with guys at the Daner, at the state level, they say they don't know what's coming. They don't know what impact it'll have if we're not compliant. They don't know how or what, or if they will even fine people or, the punishment for not having it done. I just like being a little proactive and not having to catch up. So, other than that, I think Rick will probably touch on well 8. That's about what I got, unless you have questions.
Are you gonna run that for the lead deal in the paper, in your monthly paper? Run it with that barcode again?
It's been in there and.
I
yeah,
know it's
we've-
been in
we've
there.
asked Deb to
They're just gonna leave it in there until we
continue to.
keep reminding them, okay.
There's other towns have a solution that I'm not going to bring up yet. Any other questions?
Thank you.
I saw where Rapid City had it on the news one night. Would that be a good idea to do?
Same program.
Right, would that be a good idea for us to do as well?
I don't know that they're gonna run every town. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that the thought process is that every town is required to do that, and, I mean, it's a larger federal program. I don't think that the news will run every individual town saying they're doing it. I mean, I think you just have to follow suit and say, yes, this is, nationwide.
And the cost effectiveness for us to run an ad on, it would also, I think, might hinder us at the end of the day. At a decent rate comparatively, I compare us to Spearfish, Bellfouche, Pier, Custer, and number-wise, we're doing well. So
We're not behind the curve, and we have had some good exposure, and we'll continue to do that. You know, we continue to, KBHB has aired it, and we'll continue to have it in our SIP, and we put it out on social media. So we'll continue that, but I agree with Todd. We're not in that, you know, on the lower end of that bell curve of communities on where we should be. We're fairly high.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Public Works?
So, yeah, like Todd mentioned, well number 8, we're getting ready to submit our application to DANR for our permit to drill that well. We anticipate having those plans out sometime towards the middle to the end of December for bid with a spring project. We'll see what happens. We never know. The bidding climate right now is still fairly competitive. A lot of people are very busy, and we'll have to end up seeing where we go. I don't think we'll see multiple bids. I mean, we may get 1 or maybe 2 bids to drill a well, but that's just the environment we're in, and we really don't have any local companies right now. Most of them are still coming out of Wyoming, and we've even seen them now coming out of Colorado. So there's with that ARPA money and the all the federal assistance that's out there, there's just a lot of projects, and there's not a lot of contractors still to do the work. So we do struggle. We even saw that trying to get, and that's why it's taken us so long to get that emergency repair done along the interstate. We couldn't find people, you know, that were willing to do it, and they're all full up, and thankfully the weather looks like it's going to cooperate, and we shouldn't have any issues there. But that was probably our biggest worry, was, you know, that we would get snow and freezing temps. Right now we don't have any frozen ground, so that's good, and it looks like next week we're supposed to be back up into the 50s and maybe even close to 60. So that's good news on that front. The other project that we're working on, that we're probably a couple of weeks out from having ready to go out to bid, is our sewer interceptor line that gets out to the property on Avalanche. There's a small segment there basically from Runnings down to McDonald's Silver Street that goes through that mobile home park. When we go through that and replace the sewer through that portion, we're going to redo the streets and the water at the same time. So we're putting that project together right now. Probably, you know, I think the estimate on that for the water is about $700,000. So that'll be new water main, new meter pits for all that. You know, of course, new road, curb and gutter, but there will be a portion of the project that is paid for out of the water reserve. So that'll be an upcoming project.
Why are we putting water in? We got water out there. Where's that water? 700,000?
Just because it doesn't make any sense that infrastructure is old enough that it's lived its life service, and we're not going to tear up the street and put in new curb and gutter and sidewalks and pavement and not replace the water. That wouldn't be a smart
So it's
smart
not taking
approach.
water, extending it down.
It's replacing what's there.
Okay.
Yep. And that's typically what we do, and so that's when we look at projects, you know, and more so on the street side of things. If we're going to do a reconstruction of a street, that's the first thing we look at, is the underground utilities, because we don't want to redo a street and then 6 months later have water breaks or sewer leaks or whatever and have to dig up a brand new street. So we try to avoid that. So generally speaking, that's one of the things that we consider when we try and critique whether or not we're going to do a complete rebuild of a street, is making sure that those underground utilities are in good shape, or if they need to be replaced, replace them.
Streets getting replaced?
Silver Street, which is back behind, kind of behind O'Reilly's, back in that area. You know, it connects McDonald's over to Runnings.
That's the street that runs right through the trailer court?
Yes, yep. So, well, yeah, we'll be replacing that water main and those service lines, and of course, all those are meter pits, so we'll get those all taken care of. About all I have for updates. Like I said, we're fortunate that weather's holding out, but we're kind of slowing down going into our winter season, so we don't have a whole lot of projects ongoing. Yeah. Yep. I didn't hear back from anybody. I'd sent you guys an email on the rates that were approved.
And that's already been.
That's
voted by
done
the
now,
city
yep.
council.
Todd, I forgot to ask that, when she was going with those financials, that $10,000 worth of overtime this summer or something?
That's mostly call outs. I mean, so, and we went to modified hours where we're working Monday through Thursday and then Friday only till 10. So anything after 10 is a call out. Our union contract requires us to pay a minimum of 2-hour call out. So every time we have to do a turn on or a turn off or an inspection, or somebody calls in for a water leak or anything and it's after hours, we have to pay overtime on that. So anything
That
after
much, huh?
3 in a day, yeah, it adds up fairly quick.
Wow. Okay,
Little bit of rally overtime in there, but when we look at all the different departments, water is probably one of the lower ones for overtime.
We do try to schedule things so that we don't.
Right.
Unfortunately, the call-outs you get are, inevitably, they wait till 4 or 5, or, I mean, that's when other people get home from work as well,
Yep.
or on a weekend. It just seems like,
And we don't know when we can't control, we'll get dispatch calls us. I probably get 4 or 5 a week that are after, and we don't always call out, they call me or I call Todd and we decide if we're going to even call. There's a number of them that we never ever call out an operator. But we get called out a lot.
And to be fair to Rick, in his budget, water budget, there is some of the wages from like my office that
Paid
would
out
be
of there.
coming out of there too. And so, especially the rally, there's the overtime there. So a percentage, a small percentage, is coming from our office. So.
thank you. Public hearings, none scheduled. Old business, none scheduled. Any new business on the books? None scheduled. Other matters that may come before the board.
Shut off date. Not sure where we're at there, but I know she was working very hard on them, calling people, so.
Okay. Executive session, no need for that. Adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, so done. Next meeting,
Thank you.
normal December, doesn't fall on Christmas or